Hey everyone, welcome to BSS Oz. Royce here, and today we are having another look at the Battle Spirits Saga market. Alright, seeing what's been moving, what's been rising, what's been falling, and maybe put on the old speculation cap for a second and think what could rise in the future as well. So look, that's what we're going to be doing. First of all, though, I want to take a chance to shout out you guys. Those of you who have been watching these videos, who've subscribed, who liking. Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's really kind of motivated me to continue making this content. I'm glad I've been sharing stuff which people have been appreciating. And yeah, look, if you have ideas, things you want to keep on seeing, please reach out, pop a comment, shoot me a message on Facebook. Would love to hear from you, and love to keep on making more Battle Spirit Saga content. But without further ado, let's launch in. Alright, so starting off, we have Supernova Dragon Sigworm Nova, the Saga edition again. We did cover this in the first video, but there's been some movement since last time too. So, you know, since April 28th release date, it was starting to drop off a little bit, sitting 170 or so before release, and then it just kind of dropped, and look, we have fallen off a cliff since then. We're sitting now around 48.88 for the foil copy, the only copy there is of it. But yeah, look, that's so much. I'm really surprised at how low this card is, being the kind of the chase card of the set. Yeah, surprised to see it reach or fall as low as it has, I should say. Look, now again, you're kind of looking into the reason for such a fall. Like, I mean, the supply of these cards, they seem to be pretty consistently. There's about one or so per case. Which makes it look, it's pretty rare in itself. Like, you're not going to open these in every single pack you open, obviously. But again, the demand of what the people that want to play these cards, the Sigworm Nova list has kind of fallen off in popularity in recent weeks since the game's release. So the first kind of grand open, which was Palm Spring, we saw the top 16 didn't see any of these played. So it was, yeah, it was fallen off in popularity, to say the least. And with that kind of fall, that really allowed yellow and the decks, so things like Fable Beast, 2-cost Rush, not so much, but more so Fable Beast, really kind of come out in popularity and come into its own as a deck. Whereas previously with Sigworm Nova stomping around, that was enough to scare off any yellow deck, really, because particularly the ability of this card is just so strong to wipe out an opponent's board. But look, again, with those kind of the shifting balances of a meta as things become more popular, you could maybe expect to see a bit of a resurgence of the Sigworm Nova deck come about if yellow maintains its popularity as much as it did at Palm Springs. I wouldn't be surprised to see a few of these, maybe one or two of these, reach the next top 16. But yeah, look, it's a cheap price for the Saga. Look, if I had the money to throw around right now, not lying to you, I'd probably pick up a playset of these myself. Look, I couldn't imagine the card dropping out much more in price than this being the Saga rare, the Saga, the chase of set 1. But yeah, look, it'll be interesting to watch nonetheless. On to the next card, we have Absolute Ice Shield. Now, again, you know Battle Spirit Saga, you know that this is the card everyone wants a 4 of in their deck. So last time we chatted, we were looking at around $30 or so, but thankfully we've seen that drop off. We're sitting at a nice kind of normal price of $17.40 on the market there, which, to be honest, I think that's pretty reasonable for a card which is played 4 of in almost every single deck. That's a pretty reasonable price point. Comparatively, looking at other games coming in, I don't think you're going to get a card this cheap that every deck needs. And so look, if you haven't already picked these up, I'd say most people have already, who've started the game, probably have their playset already, but if you're just coming in, now's a chance to grab them. Look, I think that's a pretty good price. I can't imagine it getting much more cheaper than that. But yeah, it's a card you definitely want 4 of in your deck. Aside from White Aggro, there's been the exception we've seen, but even still, there's an argument to be made if even that could be played in the deck. Now, touching on this again as well, being Absolute Ice Shield, it really is kind of like a utility card. So the card itself doesn't say, play this, you win the game. But look, it gives you an extra turn, it stops your opponent in their tracks, and that extra thing can really make the difference between a win and a loss for you in Battle Spirit Saga. So I kind of compare this in my head to like Magic the Gathering when I was getting a bit more competitively into that, particularly in the modern format. So in that you had these land cards, so like things like shock and fetch lands, if you're familiar with those. But they're these utility cards, which in themselves, not winning the game, but they're giving you resources, they're giving you that extra bit of an edge that can really make the difference between a competitive and a not so competitive deck. So kind of that comparison I see here with Absolute Ice Shield, and I really do think it is worth to have 4 of these if you see yourself continuing to play ongoingly with Battle Spirit Saga. Alright, the next card we are chatting about is, from what I've been able to tell, is the card which has seen the single largest percentage rise since the release of Battle Spirit Saga. Now, it's not an X-Rare, it's not an S-Special Rare, it's not a Saga. This is a lowly rare, and it is no other than Valkyrie Mist. Now, I say lowly rare, I don't mean that. This is a good rare, and it really kind of caught a lot of attention at Palm Springs. It saw in a list, a more control-oriented list with kind of a mid-range bounce package to kind of maintain that tempo. And look, people see, like, this bounces like the best of them, you know, it's up there. Aside from the bounce boss Turbo Rex, this thing can bounce pretty well anything that they can put down when it's summoned. So not a surprise to see this kind of rise a bit in popularity and price. And look, so since release, so kind of 28th of April, it was sitting about $1, and it's risen to around $4.33. So almost like a 350% rise in this card. And look, not surprising at all. I think if you're playing wide, you seriously consider putting this in your list. Obviously, it's kind of got a home in a more bounce-oriented build, if that's the way you're going. But also, like the list we saw, where it just kind of has that kind of mid-range bounce package. This slotted in perfectly with a couple of other your other good bounce cards. So yeah, cool to see. And the final thing we're touching on, the final card I want to bring up is not so much a card that's seen rise off. It's fallen since release, I'll say. But it's a card I wouldn't be surprised to see rise a little bit in the future. And that card is Phantom Beast King Lin. So this is a rare from set 1. Thing to probably bring attention to is a Fable Beast, and it's got a nice little when summoned ability here. So you got select one of your opponent's spirits. For each Fable Beast spirit you control, they are treated as level 1 during this turn. So now this card has fantastic synergy with the promo card Dual Eagle. So Dual Eagle, obviously, when it's attacking its level 3 ability, means that level 1 cards can't block your blessed creatures. So having this out when summoned, attacking with your like your Hippocamper or your Dual Eagle, they then can't block, and you're getting that damage, that life gain damage in with blessed. It's a cool card. I think it's got some fun utility to be explored a bit more. Now, saying I don't think the list is quite there yet, so obviously the card is quite cheap still. It's 22 cents. But I wouldn't be surprised to see this kind of see a bit of sideboard inclusion. Even the level 3 ability can have some utility in those more grindy like white matchups and things like that. If you got your 2 costs swinging against stuff, with like a white board with like elk on board and elephant and stuff like that, you can easily get your 2 cost creatures swinging in and dealing a bit of damage with that. So yeah, look, I'd confidently say if you're going to be playing Fable Beasts in the future, I'd recommend picking up a playset of these. It's only $1, and I think it could see a bit more play than what it currently is, particularly with more cards being released, and also with Dual Eagle kind of becoming a bit more popular. So it's Dual Eagle obviously is out there, but it's pretty hard to get a playset of those given the way the promos are distributed. Currently, I think there's very few people that are probably running around with a full playset of Dual Eagles. But as they become more popular and more prominent, I wouldn't be surprised seeing a bit of synergy with this card as well. So look, I want to wrap this up by saying that if you haven't got into Battle Spirits Saga yet, maybe you're just checking this out, seeing what the prices are like, what's happening with Battle Spirits, I'd recommend getting in now. Like, it's a great game. We're at the point where it's competitive decks are affordable. You can pay for a really good deck. You can pay less than $100, and I'm kind of saying that Australian or US really. You can have a deck which can perform really well at locals and even into those more organized play events. But But that as well, you've also got all the player base kind of has a pretty similar experience level at this point. The game's only been out officially a month. And so, it's not like a game coming into it like Magic the Gathering, where players might have 10 plus years of experience. It's kind of hard it's quite a steep learning curve against more experienced players. Whereas I don't think there is that currently for Battle Saga. You've got that kind of equal playing field. It's a great chance to jump in and look, and it's just a good game. Like I've really been enjoying this game. And I'm confident if you haven't tried it out, if you enjoyed TCGs before, give this a go. I reckon you'll love it. And finally, I want to take the chance. I want to take the chance to bring up my local game store, Grimdark Gaming. So I've been fortunate enough to collaborate with Grimdark Gaming. So they've provided us a code to be able to give you guys who follow along. So the code is BSSAUS. Now, if you go over to Grimdark's website, they have singles for sale, also sealed product. If you're looking to grab some stuff, swing over there, pop some things in your cart at the checkout. Use the code BSSAUS. You'll save yourself 5%. That's going to help the channel here. And you're supporting a great local game store. Grimdark has been, absolutely fantastic game store which loves their community and also is keen to see the competitive scene grow for tournament for trading card games. There's no lose there. It's win-win-win. Save money, support the channel, support a great game store. Other than that, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. If you've got other thoughts, other speculations yourself, I'd love to hear them as well. Other than that, I'll catch you next time. See ya.